Behind me is the 2025 Kubota RTV-X Cab. It is the utility rig from a company that is famous for building tractors. This thing is a diesel rig with 24.8 horsepower. So to say it's a utility rig is a bit of an understatement. It has one job, and that is to get things done at the job site day in, day out, and it is aimed at contractors and people with small properties and people who only need their UTV for utility. We're gonna go over 5 things we love about it, 5 things we hate about it, and then talk about who this machine is for. Let's jump in with the 5 things we love about it. And number 1, it's from a tractor company. It's built for utility. It's built for reliability, and therefore it's super serviceable. Check this out. Most rigs just have a little plastic cover for the hood, but this has an actual hood on gas shocks, which gives you access to the air filter, the coolant, the windshield washer bottle, the radiator. Everything is right here. The AC condenser, which we'll get to in a minute, is right here. Everything is where you can reach it. And it's under a super easy to use traditional bonnet. Look at that. Everything's right there. Even the headlights are easy to service. And then if you come around to the back, check this out. The engine is right here. There's a little plastic cover to keep dirt and whatever off of it, but you've got your alternator right here. You've got your fuel pump right here. You've got your fuel injectors right here on the top of the 3-cylinder diesel engine. There's your oil change. You can get to the transmission. You can get to your oil filters are right here out the back of the rig. I can't think of anything in here that would need servicing that I can't see. And every grease fitting for this bed, there's a grease zerk right here. You can get to it. You can grease moving parts. Everything is built to be worked on and built to last. We love that. The second thing we love about this machine is right in the name. It's the cab. This is the RTVX Cab, and well, it has a sealed and fully enclosed cab, and with that, all of the luxuries that you would expect from an enclosed rig. Check this out. You've got roll-down windows, but these aren't just any roll-down windows. For those of you who were born after 2000, you may never have seen one of these. This is a window crank. Instead of an electronic actuator to move the window up and down, you use your hand. It's dead reliable. These door panels, they're metal, they're built to last. None of this is plastic. This weather seal goes all the way around the door, and it actually keeps the weather out. And because Kubota knows that jumping in and out of a rig with doors on a job site can be a bit of a pain, they've put gas shocks on the doors to help you kick them open so that you're not pushing this heavy door every time you want to get in or out. Let's see, what else we got in here? We got a glass windshield with a windshield wiper. This is actual, honest to goodness automotive glass. You have a headliner. There's a Jensen stereo up here. On the passenger side, there's air conditioning. Maybe this isn't very blue collar of me, but I like to be comfortable when I'm working, and this has heating and cooling. It's super easy to use, and it rips. It's kind of warm out here today in Virginia, and this thing is ice cold if you want it to be, and the heater will run you out of here on a winter's day. The third thing we love about this rig is the bed. Check this out. First of all, if you want to, you can fold the bed sides totally flat. This folds flat and so does that. But look in here. This thing is huge. I have complained about other utility rigs. I've knocked on them for having plastic beds with inadequate tie downs. Look at this. This is a steel bed. It is huge. It will hold every bit of the 1,000-pound capacity that Kubota quotes. It's got these really, really stout tie downs in all 4 corners so you can latch whatever is back here all the way down. And again, if it's a load like a bunch of fence posts or something that's too long to fit in the bed, you can fold the sides down, or you can fold one side down or 2 sides down, whatever you need to do, however you need to configure it so that this bed tailors itself to the job you're doing. And as I showed you a minute ago, this bed lifts up and down. It is a full electric over hydraulic dump system. Check this out. Kubota achieves that not with a little button on the dash, but with this really big handle right here, and there's a gate hinge that goes over the handle to keep you from bumping it when you're driving along. So there's a safety switch, pull that, you can raise and lower the bed. It's really well thought out. It just says that this thing is built for one purpose, and that is utility. The fourth thing we love about the Kubota RTV-X Cab is that all of the important controls in here are manual. From the e-brake, which you can see the mechanism down there, like it's not covered up by anything. That is fully mechanical. There is no electronic switch or wiring to go wrong there. The shifter, you can look down in that mechanism again. That's all mechanical, and it's really positive. It can get a little clunky to use. The transmission's not always happy, but when it is, it falls right into gear. Look at this, the transfer case. Again, no button. You want to put it in 4-wheel drive? you push the stick forward. You want to put it in two-wheel drive, you push it back. Even the diff lock, and yes, this thing has a locking rear differential, but you can select when it locks and unlocks with just this little pedal, which is really handy. Let's say you're bopping along the job site and the going gets muddy and you want to lock the rear wheel real quick. You just put your foot on it, and when you're done locking the rear, you take it off and it's back in turf mode. And if you know you're going to need the lock diff for a while, check this out. You push the pedal down, you pull this lever up, and it locks in place. Again, super simple. It's all mechanical, which means it's easily serviceable, which means it's easily repaired, and it means it's probably not going to break anytime soon. And the last and final thing we love about the mechanical controls is just like an old lawnmower, you have a rabbit or turtle switch. That's literally a cable that is attached to the throttle. When you pull it up into rabbit, you get a little bit higher idle. You push it down into turtle, it lowers the idle. Top speed in rabbit is maybe 25 miles an hour, but none of this is electronic. So if it breaks, you'll be able to fix it when it does. Love that. And the fifth thing we love about this is its value. This thing represents something of a bargain. The rig behind me is right about 28,000 bucks as equipped, which again, $28,000, I will grant you, is a lot of money, but let's talk about what you get for that. The first thing, there is a Warn Axon 45S winch on this. They didn't just put any sort of generic no-name winch on it. That is an industry standard side-by-side winch with a synthetic cable, and it comes standard on the RTVX Cab. Let's move over here. You get alloy wheels. Necessary on a job site? No. But a nice touch? Yes. And then when you consider that you get a stereo, granted it doesn't have ride command or any kind of fancy nav, but it's a stereo, and you get air conditioning, and you get all of the utility features that we talked about earlier. This thing is a bargain, and we think Kubota has really hit a sweet spot, especially for people who are only using their rig for work. All right, that's the 5 things we love about it. Now the part you've all been waiting for, 5 things we hate about it. And the first one is subjective, but not up for debate. It kind of looks like Peyton Manning. And meaning no offense to the Denver Broncos hero quarterback. Peyton may be a great quarterback, but he's not exactly known for his movie star good looks, and the Kubota is no exception. The forehead here is very Manning-esque. If we were speccing one of these for ourselves, it would not be this color. Hey, we're back in the cab again for the second thing we hate about this rig, and it's the seat belts. Look, they're incomplete. Like, they're not broken. That's how much seat belt you get. Like in the back of your dad's 1987 Toyota Camry, these lap belts that are universally accepted to be not the safest thing in the world. Look, we get it. This is a utility side-by-side. It's not meant for bouncing around. It's not meant for going fast, but it's 2025, folks. How hard would it be to put 3-point belts in here? The third thing we hate about the Kubota RTV-X Cab, and actually any Kubota RTV-X, is the fact that this engine and transmission unit are really exposed back here. There's this little thin piece of metal right here, but right behind that is your oil filter. Look, I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy, but I can definitely envision a scenario on a job site where a log or a piece of wood or a rock or something gets kicked up into here, whacks something it's not supposed to touch, and suddenly you got to stop what you're doing and fix your little Kubota. And speaking of the engine, that transitions us nicely into number 4, and that is that this thing is slow, like catastrophically slow. Now, I know it's a diesel, which comes with a lot of benefits. The fuel will never go bad. You can run basically whatever kind of fuel you want to in it. You can put off-road diesel in it since it's not got license plates. All that is great, and diesels are known for their reliability. But this thing has 24.8 horsepower and something like 50 foot-pounds of torque. And with the hydrostatic drive transmission that it's got, it translates most of that power seemingly into noise. In rabbit mode, you're going to struggle to get above 25 miles an hour, and in today's world, that's just slow. It's great for bopping around a job site, but if you've got a big farm, it's going to take you longer to get from one side to the other in your Kubota. And number 5 is actually kind of a mishmash because we really struggled to find 5 things we hated about this rig, so we're going to do 2 honorable mentions in one and call it number 5. The first honorable mention, this bed liner on a hot day when it's nice and sunny out like it is in East Tennessee right now, this can get tacky and like leave residue on your hands, and it doesn't feel all that strong, and it just starts to come off. We'd like to see that remedied. And number 5, part 2, not really a complaint, but kind of annoying. These door seals are so good that closing the doors is kind of like trying to close a bank vault if you've got both the windows all the way up and the other door shut. Like, there is so much air resistance that if you don't put your weight into it, you're not going to get the door latched, and you'll just go around with a cracked open door. Again, it's a nitpick, but we had to find something, and so that's it. So those are the 5 things we love and the 5 things we hate about the 2025 Kubota RTV-X Cab. So let's talk about who this rig is for. This rig is for the guy who thought he wanted a tractor but realized he needed more seats, thought he wanted a tractor but didn't need a front end loader and did want air conditioning. What I'm saying is that this is for someone who only wants wants their side-by-side for work. Now that leads us to something that could be a knock on the Kubota depending on who you are. This thing is a single-purpose rig. Do not expect to buy a Kubota RTV-X Cab and take it out to Glamis or to Windrock or to your local trail park. This thing is for work. It has the transmission out of a tractor, it has the engine out of a tractor, and it performs that way. It doesn't have a lot of ground clearance, though it is very maneuverable, and it doesn't have a front locker. It is not going to get up a rock garden at your local trail park, so please do not go to the Kubota dealer thinking, oh cool, because it has a sealed cab and because it has air conditioning and because it has a stereo, it's a neat little funky dual purpose rig and I'm really getting a bargain on something that I can rip with my buddies and get work done. It's not that. If you want that, there are plenty of rigs out there that will do that job. The Kubota's not it, but what the Kubota is maybe the ultimate utility rig for a small contractor or a big contractor or a guy with 30 to 50 acres or someone with a couple 100-acre ranch who just needs to get work done. Okay, so that's it for this video, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Hit us up in the comments. Have you ever driven one of these things? What do you think of it? Do you own one? What do you use it for? And then head over to utvdriver.com where we've got news, reviews, and buyer's guides 5 days a week. And then 7 days a week, you can hit us up on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And please, before you go, hit that like button and give us a subscribe. We're trying to hit 25,000 subscribers by July the 4th, and we need you to help us get there.